open. Sweet candy coated honey bar, good looking. The way how you moving, put me in a mood, I'm glad to see you. Your waistline on the baseline, so attractive, I wanna be a captive. I see a smile on your face now, so beautiful, I know you're original.
So come push back on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. And come wind up on me, don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance to me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance to me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving.
Come talk to me, girl. Classy and intelligent, are you run the world? I let me sit face to face. Know you feel the tension, just had to mention. Your brown eyes, shining bright, so gorgeous and glowing like sunlight. Hear your voice, angelic high, so amazing, I wanna keep this going.
So come push back on me, I wanna see if you got good chemistry. And come wind up on me, don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, y'all, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, y'all, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving. Cause we still grooving.
Hey, 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 girl, I wanna take you home with me.
And hey, 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 girl, show you good energy, yeah.
Hey, 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 girl, I wanna treat you right, you see, you see, you see.
Hey, 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 yeah, girl. So come wind back on me, I wanna see if we got good chemistry. And come wind up on me, don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention, girl, you're sweet off. Dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you dance and you have my attention. And dance for me, baby. Just keep it moving, cause we're still grooving. I love how you dance and show off, show off. You have my attention. And dance for me, baby, step out, step out. Keep it moving, we're still grooving. Aye. Cause we're still grooving. Step out, step out. Hey.
Anybody ever told ya what a woman really is? If you ever get the moment, show them how much they give. You're a shoulder I can cry on, arms I can embrace. Is to hear my deepest thoughts, protect her night and day. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You are amazing, cause you have given life. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You're all amazing, I try to describe. You are woman, Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are.
You have birthed the nations, a nurturer you are. You bless us with your wisdom, and you tended every scar. You have found me broken, you have shown me light. You ignited all my passions, and loved me through the night. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You are all amazing, cause you have given life. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. You are all amazing. I try to describe, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are.
To be a woman is to be blessed with unparalleled intuition, to be powerful, power independent of place or position. To be a woman is to be a mother, giving birth to sons and daughters, ideas, institutions, and business ventures. To be a woman is to be the current inspiration, the future aspiration of a young lady, of a little girl.
You're a masterpiece of harmony, a melody of life. You're a gem, a diamond flower in spring, you're one of a kind. You're a masterpiece of harmony, a melody of life. You're an African queen flower in spring, you're one of a kind. You are mother, sister, daughter, nieces, aunties, wives. So you are amazing. I try to describe, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. Yes, you are, yes, you are, you are woman. You are woman. You are woman. You are. Yes, you are, yes, you are. You are woman. You are woman. You are woman. Hey. And when obstacles manifest as natural, you are born for this.
To be a woman is to be the heart of the system, to be the one who brings life into our world.
Never thought of falling in love again. No, never. But my heart's been stolen again. This time, hope it lasts forever. We'll go beyond, 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 beyond.
It's been a while now since love's been in this place. You see, many have tried, but no one could take your place, girl. Why you so beautiful? I see the future in your face, baby. Never in a million years I thought that you'd be mine, girl. That you'd be mine, girl. Never thought I would fall.
No, never. But my heart's been stolen again.
But my heart's been stolen.
That's for
We keep going and growing, girl. The best thing is knowing, girl. Cause when we KISSING, all I can say is OMG. My love in my life, you make all things right, baby. I trust you, girl, with my life. I don't want nobody but you. I'ma put my ring on you. Never thought I'd no, never. Ooh, baby. Again. This time, hope it lasts forever. We'll go beyond. We will go so far. Beyond. Beyond. You always find what you're looking for, and you ain't looking for a thing. We ain't looking for a thing. Yeah, you'll always find what you're looking for, and you ain't looking for a thing. Never thought I. No, never. Ooh, baby. Been stolen again. This time, hope it lasts forever. You hope, baby. I hope it lasts forever, girl. I hope it lasts forever, girl. Hey, 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 hey. We will go, baby. We will go, baby. Ooh, we will go, baby. We will go so far, baby. I hope it lasts forever, baby.
Warning. What you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to a brand new edition of the Senate Podcast. I am your host, Neil. He is your host, Derek. Wait. Hit me again. Wait. Hold on a minute. Something going on right here. All right, we got that speaker there, so, and they're not hearing you. Why am I not hearing? Not there. Hold on a minute. There?
Yeah, still here.
Got you there now. All right. Here we go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate Podcast. I'm your host, Neil. He is your host, Derek.
Yeah.
And together, we are back in the saddle again. We're riding high. We come to talk the things, Derek. How is life treating you? How has your vacation been? Talk to me.
Well, it's been busy. I found other things to fill my time. So it's been busy working on a little project. Guys doing some recording, so that's been good. So as much as we've had a break. Can't say it was on vacation. Had a break. We weren't doing this, but we were doing other things. And what's going on with you, man? How was the break treated you?
Well, I know how it is. Murphy's Law. We went on vacation and immediately caught COVID. So, been dealing with that now the past weekend, well, almost 2 weeks. And yeah, that has been it.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my story. I've had no vacation. Unless you want to call, isolation vacation. But yeah, man, other than that, I hear. You know how it is. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We hope everybody's been nice. Everybody's been good. How has everybody been? How's life? How's life treating you all on the outside? While everybody recounts us and regales us of their activities over the last 2 weeks, Derek, let us know about, you spoke about G-Syndicate. Let everybody know where they can find G-Syndicate.
Yeah, man, G-Syndicate, G-Syndicate6.com on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, G-Syndicate6. And on Instagram, G-Syndicate6, but spell out 6. I'm sure you all know how to spell 6. But yeah, man, Steve, welcome to season 2. The boys in the crank again. We are back in the saddle. It is feeling good. I'm excited to be here. I have to say, I'm excited to be back. That's the truth. It's been a while, and it's always good to be here with you, my brother, and doing the Lord's work, as the people would say. Greetings to everybody in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, as you know, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, Derek will go on social media, the Senate Podcast on Facebook. Give us a like and a follow there. We're going there. And we coming out the gates. We coming out the gates booming with this topic. We're going to be talking about essentially modern men and marriage. Basically, why are the divorce rates increasing, and why are men refusing to get married in this modern age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting, Derek. Obviously you do your monologue, you do your research. I am a person that likes to do research as well, that is data driven, but also to talk to married men, talk to men out there that refuse to get married, and kind of get an understanding of what men are feeling, right? Because data captures, I think, a very accurate snapshot of what's going on out there. But conversations, there is something to be said for lived experiences and conversations from men. So I think this is going to be a very
It gives context to the numbers.
Yes, it does. So I think this one is going to be a very interesting one, especially for those men that are married or thinking about getting married. So I turn it over to you, my brother, to lead us in sermon tonight in our return to the pulpit.
Yeah, man, we back here. We back again, like bell bottom pants. Jerry Curls ain't making a return, but we back in the saddle, yeah. And it's good to be back. I have to say, I can't say that enough. It's good to be back doing this stuff and talking these things. So yeah, why are divorce rates claiming modern men choosing not to get married, right? And I was doing a lot of research in the YouTube streets and what people say, and one content creator that I came across was Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. He is a tutor at Fresno State University. He was in a sexist marriage and stuff like that. He talks openly about this stuff, so it's not me airing his business or anything like that, but he approaches it from a very academic point of view. We love data, we love academia and stuff on this channel. So I gave him, he did a podcast with my guy O'Shea Duke Jackson, and it was very informative. I also listened to some other stuff from another content creator. And we like to approach stuff from, again, data-driven, academic standpoint, also from, the standpoint of facts and statistics, that kind of thing. So that's what we can get into tonight. And of course, Neil, as you would have said, in terms of speaking with men, some of our personal experiences in their experiences that other men would have shared with us and stuff like that. All of that is going to combine tonight for what we're going to talk about, right? And we talk about marriage. This is one that I would have seen. My guy Fergie had a post about this. And he says, that bad experiences aside, marriages are important. And on that we agree. Let me make sure that you don't misquote Fergie. Yeah, bad experiences aside, marriage and family are great for us and society, so we should encourage it rather than knocking it. Right? Before we get to the monologue, let's show a video. This one was circulating a little while ago. Neil, you're still there because you're frozen, so just making sure that you're still there.
Yeah, it's still here. Camera trying to figure that out. I don't know why that is there, but it's still here.
Cool beans. Well, let's get a watch of the video here before I really start to go into it a little bit and show you the perspective that we are dealing with in the modern dating back alleys, right? Matter of fact, we didn't do this, Neil. As you come in, folks, I know we're excited to be back. Hit the like button, like, share, comment, subscribe. That's the price of admission. We don't charge much. So just, come in, hook it up. Yeah?
Right. And I also want to say, before I forget, we want to make a bigger push. Steve calls it a season, sure, so we can call it season. We want to make a bigger push this season to engage people, to have them call in, and to have the discussion. And to that end, I've put the link there. At some point, we're going to get to that point of the show. A little tweak in how we run things here. But we want to make sure that people call in. We want to have... I'm going to ask a question at the end of the monologue, and after I've said my piece, I'm going to ask some questions, and those are going to be the questions for tonight that we're going to be talking on. Men and women, especially women, are encouraged to call in. We know the men are calling, that's not a problem, but we really want to hear from the women as well, because this is something that impacts both men and women in the Black community. Important and incumbent on both parties to want to see the best in how we interact with each other. So the link is there. You don't need to have the program Skype or the app Skype. Click that link. It takes you to a browser, and it's pretty straightforward. A few clicks and you're here. You don't necessarily have to have your video on, because I understand it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Some of y'all batting down for the night. I don't feel like seeing a bonnets tonight. So, or bareback man for that matter. So,
believe it.
Right, believe it in that kind of show. So, yeah, the link is there. When we get to the show, I pinned it, so y'all can come back to that at a later date. All right, my brother. Are you ready to run this video where you are?
Yeah, man. Go ahead. I hear it.
First, before, my first marriage, we made all of the mistakes. Unfortunately, he passed away.
So why did you guys get a divorce?
Because I really wanted something different. It's very unfortunate because he was the most loving, kind person. I had all the love and support that I could have ever wanted. But I think I went through a period wanting money. Like, I wanted to be with someone and be at a different level. And I saw him work all of the time. It's one thing to work from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, day in, day out, and still have no resources. And for me to work, do the same, and just want a different life.
So, long story short, you wanted a different life and lifestyle than he was able to provide. And so you said, you know what, this, I'm out of here. I need more money.
I was selfish and took advantage of a real unfortunate situation, which was he loved me and David unconditionally, completely unconditionally. And when you love someone like that, you really accept their flaws and you accept less than what you should. So really, I should have been a better wife. Every time we saw each other, you knew that was your soulmate, right?
Wow, so he was your soulmate.
It's hard because I knew how he still felt about me.
He just loved you.
He really did.
And you broke his heart. Oh, don't cry, Tip.
Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I just wanted to kind of put that out there and see so people can see and hear. I think we should do a short about that chick, but yeah, I think I just put her out there to kind of set the stage for what we're looking at a little bit, right? I purposed in my heart over the break that I'm going to adjust my commentary just a little bit, speak differently. Some people very close to me who think that my commentary might be a little misogynistic or a little sexist or whatever. And I definitely don't want that to be associated with me, even though they say that we are practicing misogyny. But, I've decided that there are other ways to skin a cat, and I will operate accordingly, right? Anyhow, all that aside, right? These days, folks, when we look at the divorce rate, right? Now, how often women initiate divorce, we know here on this channel is 70 to 80% of the time. It's actually going up closer to 90 these days. It seems as if men want to be married and in long-term relationships more than women. So I feel like it's important that we take a look at what may be the cause of a bit of the disconnect, right? So there are so many factors that continue to impact marriage, and I'm going to throw in long-term relationships in there because those are a thing. There's so many factors that impact marriages and long-term relationships these days, and it is necessary for us to have a discussion. All right. So one challenge we have is many of us don't know what a functional marriage looks like. Yeah, we've never seen it, and we simply have no examples of it. So our concept of marriage comes from television and mainstream media, right? Unfortunately, though, mainstream media always pushes the narrative that women can always, leave their husbands, upgrade, and do better. So you see women rolling out when the situation is less than what they would have expected or what they thought they had signed up for, right? As we saw in the lady at the top of the show, right? Now, women have been socialized to, especially in Black communities, we find, to delay marriage until later in their lives, right? Get your education, have some fun, and then plug in and play a husband and marriage later in life. Yeah, this is not me talking. As we like to say here, studies have shown. So studies have shown that this is what we like to do in the Black community. Marry a little later, we sort out education and stuff like that with intent, with purpose. You have some fun with purpose, but when it comes to husband, you hear, oh, well, yeah, Lord can send me a man or something like that, right? The challenge with this school of thought, though, is that it leaves many women competing with younger women and essentially pricing themselves out of the market because they want more, different, and better things in life, right? Also consider, folks, they have had years of experiences and partners, which affects their ability to pair bond. We talk about this in season 1. We got seasons, Neil. We talk about this in season 1, yeah? In life. Like this feel like a DC comic series.
Yeah, the
Flash or whatever. Got 20
longest
series,
longest
episodes.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Yep.
And it raises their bar for the amount of excitement they need for a relationship with a man to be worth it, right? Because shoot, as women get older, and you see it in dating profiles, hey, I had all my fun, I didn't want the fun no more. If you come in just for sex, we see it all the time. These are the things we see, right? So this then means that husbands are now required, nay, obligated to be a real life Santa Claus granting wishes on a list, right? Traveling, that kind of thing. And if you can't provide those things, it becomes a case of, I could do bad all by myself, and then it's like, well, yeah, juices, and she out, right?
But we also add to the fact that counseling and therapy tends to be very gynocentric and even borderline misandrist, depending on where you go. It is rarely objective and balanced. And it's simply a matter of trying to get the man to see the issues in the relationships from the woman's perspective. So very often you find that the counselors and the therapists and stuff like that are trained to see women as victims, right? We spoke about this on a live stream we would have done in season 1. With regard to, I think we showed a video where the lady was saying, the police, even the police are coached essentially to refer to female callers or whatever as victims of rape, right? Especially when they're responding to domestic disputes and that kind of thing, right? And you and I, Neil, we have a mutual friend who would have gone to do the whole marriage counseling and therapy and stuff like that. And that was his very real experience, that everything seemed to be geared in one direction. And he then made a decision, you know what? It don't make sense going back to this here, so he decided not to go, not to return, right? So these are just a couple of the things the challenges we're finding so far with why it is difficult to kind of bridge the disconnect between men and women in a relationship, right? And in another live stream, I would have pointed out a couple of things with regard to mating value and assortative mating, which serve to bring a necessary understanding of women's mate choices, right? In that live stream, folks, we would have discovered that it's not simply a case of women not wanting to settle with certain men, right? It's not like they're just making the choices they're making because that's what they feel like doing. They simply cannot do anything different. Why? From an evolutionary standpoint, folks, their need, and this there being women, their need for security doesn't allow them to make any other different choices. Their need to want the best for themselves doesn't allow them to make any other choices. Essentially, hypergamy doesn't allow them to make any other choices. So, men, where does that leave us? Right? Where does that leave us as men? Well, the first thing we need to do is to understand that the intended purpose of marriage has changed, right? Marriage is no longer about utility and survival, right? Marriage has now become about luxury and pleasure. Let me repeat them 2 sentences, right? Marriage is no longer about utility and survival. Marriage has now become about luxury and pleasure. Why is that the case? Well, it's a different dynamic in the workplace. Women making no money, right? And they've said they can do bad all by themselves, right? So marriage in which one person specializes in the home, while the other person specializes in the market, out there hunting and gathering, that kind of marriage is on life support. So let me recognize that up front, right? That kind of marriage is on life support. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to appreciate is that there has been a paradigm shift from marriage and the family unit as a forum for shared production. And it has shifted from shared production to shared consumption. Let me break that down like a fraction for those who ain't really getting me yet, right? Modern marriage is about love and companionship, right? I remember watching a live stream from Kevin Samuels, and he was trying to say to a lady that marriage is not about being happy, it's about duty and obligation, responsibility, and things. That might have been so, let's say, 60 years ago. Wait, how old is Neil?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Shoot. Yeah, but that would be so. Let me say it back in, 50, 60 years ago, that might have been the case, right? if not a little further back. But not today. Marriage is not about duty and obligation anymore, right? It's about love and companionship. And as I would have told you before, luxury and pleasure, right? If you can get to that. Most things in life are simply better shared with another person, right? And this ranges from the simple pleasures such as enjoying a movie or a hobby together to shared social ties such as attending the same church, and finally to the joint project, the group project of bringing up children, right? And that, folks, is assortative mating, right? We would have talked about assortative mating at the end of season 1. I love it. I love it. Yeah, we would have talked about assortative mating at the end of season 1. The key today is consumption complementaries, right? Activities that are not only enjoyable, but are more enjoyable when shared with a spouse. This new model of life sharing is known as hedonic marriage, right? We tell you we get academic tonight, right?
Let's get it.
We get academic tonight. Now, unfortunately, now that we've kind of, put out some things out there, that we get into the meeting, no matter what's going on in the marriages now, right? Before we do that, before you go any further, hit the like button, folks. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that. I see some people in here. I see Annie C here, and I see I don't know, I've never seen you before, but welcome. Thank you so much for coming through.
And to all the people that telling us welcome back, we missed you all too. We really did. Matter of fact, we missed you all so much. We wasn't supposed to. I've been sick. We were supposed to come back now. Every now and then you can see me coughing. Y'all ain't can hear me, but y'all can see me coughing. I just want to be back here. That's all.
Yeah, we were like, you know what? We really ain't supposed to be coming back here, but we missed you guys, so we back here, right? Now, let me talk the things, right? There are many men living in sexless marriages, and contrary to popular belief, Neil, and those of you in the cabinet tonight, not every man is a horn dog just hitting everything with a hole in a heartbeat, right? That just doesn't happen. Unfortunately, though, the wife, she won't give it the cheeks, but she still wants monogamy. So many men actually have to endure several weeks, months, and sometimes years of incel life. Incel, involuntary celibate, for those of you who went up to speed with the terminology, right? So you as a man, you're in a relationship with a woman, you're married, long-term relationship, whatever you want to call it. But there's no action there for you, right? And it don't just mean sex either, right? No intimacy, period. No hugs and kisses. Minimal conversation. I mean, right? No. Before people start to, get the knickers in a bunch, there are reasons for this. Many reasons for this, right? We got mismatched sexual urges, libido. We got weight gain and the associated body image issues, vaginal dryness, childbirth, lack of communication, medication like antidepressants, that kind of thing. Even childhood trauma, such as sexual abuse, are all contributing factors to the lack of intimacy. And many of those go both ways, right? There are men who have experienced sexual trauma as children as well. There are some men who are in a relationship with a woman and she want more sex than them, that kind of thing, right? But we generally know how it's going on, right? Most often, however, lack of trust is the biggest issue. Lack of trust tends to be the biggest issue when you come to sexless marriages, right? Now, this doesn't always mean that the man did anything, right? Sometimes he did. Sometimes he would have stepped out, and the lack of trust now is on him. Yeah, we ain't denying that. But sometimes he didn't do anything, right? Sometimes is just a lack of trust on her part for whatever reason. Well, not whatever reason, kind of the reasons that some of the reasons I would have listed before, childhood trauma, etc. Right? There just needs to be the suspicion of some kind of skullduggery. And very often there's no communication or discussion about it. The wife kind of retreats emotionally. The sex stops. And then husband and wife essentially become two strangers running a small daycare. So now we have a husband who is trying to figure out what he did wrong and how he can get his wife to return to the marital bed. Right? And let me stop here and say why we are approaching it from this particular angle. Again, this is a channel for men. We give men's perspectives because very often people don't listen to hear men's perspectives. People don't care about men's perspectives. So we are giving you right here, right now, what happens in these relationships, in these marriages.
But
right?
not only that, Derek, to add to that, one thing we've encountered as well is that a lot of men discredit men's perspective simply because it's not their perspective, it's not perspective that they share. But we can promise you that these are the perspectives of men. Married men, single men,
many men.
Jeez, you're showing off. No, you're showing off. You're showing off.
Right? And we often hear from men, right? We hear this all the time that men get married and then the dynamic in the relationship changes, right? We've heard this axiom before. Men marry women expecting them not to change, while women marry men expecting them to change, right? In Bajan parlance, we would say, we hear before you get married, it's scrambled eggs, and after you get married, you're going to scramble for the eggs, right? So what are the options for men? Well, you're in a relationship that has broken down to the point where the interaction for you got 4 options. I like to give you some options. You got 4 options, right? Option 1, you could bury your head in the sand and pretend that the current situation does not exist, whatever it is. You can just pretend that it doesn't happen, right? A lot of men have come to a place of resigned acceptance where they know the status quo. They know there's no intimacy at home, so they stop placing any importance on it and just roll with the punches, right? That's option 1. So if you are under the sound of my voice tonight and you have found yourself in a relationship where you are not being sexually fulfilled, matter of fact, scratch that, where you are not getting the intimacy that you want on any level, these are the options you have. Option 1, ostrich it, bury your head in sand and just ignore it, keep rolling, right? Do you? Option, ostrich it, yeah. Option 2, cheat and hope you don't get caught. But, a lot of men simply don't have that as an option, right? As I would have said earlier, most men aren't the hordos that women think they are, just walking about hitting everything with a pulse, right? When a man gets married, he wants to be intimate with his significant other. When he's in a long-term relationship, he wants to be intimate with his partner. So, cheating and hoping that you don't get caught isn't necessarily the most appealing option out there, right? Option 3 would be to negotiate an open relationship with your wife. Yeah, but you can ask Will Smith how that works. So, yeah. Then there's option 4, right? Divorce. But in a judicial system that generally favors women, a man would be exposing himself to the loss of custody of his children and the redistribution of wealth and assets from him to his wife, right? We had a song about that back in the day, written by Eric Lewis, one of the greatest Bajan poets ever, right? I want half of the house, half of your bank account, yeah? Simply name half. Showed who mad, right? Also, folks, consider that men are generally considered to be guilty when it comes to the demise of a relationship and a dissolution of a marriage. So when you go into court, there's already the perception that, hey, you's who break this up, right? Even though we know 70 to 80% of the time initiated by, we know this, right?
Initiated by, Derek, but that doesn't mean that they're the cause. Come on now.
Yeah, but well, I can get that. Hit the like button, folks. If you like it, boy, drop it down here. So put some ones in the chat too. Yeah. Men. Protector, provider, prophet, and priest. These are the men's obligations in a relationship and a marriage. Let me repeat them. You are supposed to be protector, provider, prophet, and priest. You got to protect your family. You got to provide for them. You got to be the prophet. You got to chart out the way forward for your family. You know where they're going, and you got to be the priest. You are the spiritual head in your household. Notice that spiritual head and not Christian head, based on who on the sound of my voice, who you believe in or what you believe in. The role is the same. You are the spiritual head of your house. These roles have not changed since the dawn of time, right? Women, on the other hand, folks, gentlemen, pay attention. Women, on the other hand, are under no obligation to hold more traditional roles, right? As a matter of fact, to even suggest that a woman has an obligation or a duty to do anything for a man is considered misogyny and patriarchy, right? If you doubt me, ask a woman to do anything that we consider a more traditional gender role in it. Sorry, let me reword that. Ask a woman if she would do anything that we consider to be more a traditional female gender role. And see the response you get. Try it. Social experiment, right? Marriage has been redefined since the late 60s, through the 70s and into the 80s, and then we saw what happened in the 90s, waiting to exhale, etc., right? And marriage has been redefined as a form of slavery and oppression. Yeah. Marriage has been redefined as a form of slavery and oppression. So as a married woman, if a married woman would be viewed as living in a prison if she was provided for by and then had a duty or obligation to, and there's a touchy word here, to service her husband, whether that service being cooking, cleaning, even sex, right? Obligation for a woman became to be seen as oppressive, and that is even more the case today, right? If you feel like talking folly, ask a woman about fulfilling what used to be considered a traditional gender role like cooking or cleaning for her man, and watch the response. Many women will bristle at best if you don't get washing curse at worst, right? Because we are at the point now, and you and I, we had this conversation months ago, actually, when you were on the project. You said you were doing some chatting in the field work with some young ladies who said the challenge is they don't want to have any obligation or responsibility to perform certain duties, right?
Not even when it comes to children.
Exactly. Even that is something that is we would have seen as traditional, but that is not the case today. And men, I need you to pay attention. I need you to pay attention, because if you make the assumption that what you think is what is going to pertain your relationships, you will be sorely mistaken, right? Obligations for us as men, though, that's expected. That's simply it. You can't shirk it, right? Atlas can't shrug. In the aftermath of the pandemic, many men lost their wives because of their inability to provide for the wife on the level that they would have expected. You know, layoffs and all that stuff, job cuts. So it means now that this redefinition of marriage suits women perfectly because they can cherry pick from the male and female gender roles as they see fit. And there's no expectation, obligation, or duty to a man or husband. Yeah? Folks, these are just what the situation is currently. This ain't me being sexist or misogynist or patriarchal or any other issue you want to call it. This is just what it is. Again, if you feel like talking foolishness, women, think about how you respond if your man says to you, well, when they come home, your job is to provide X. And men, I ain't gonna ask you to try it because you already know how that will go over, right? So the obligations for women have been stripped away. Men, your obligations still hold. They still hold. And let me show you what's going on here. Now, let me go back even further before we even get married. Let me go back to the dating phase, right? And we talk about obligations. Because remember, Neil, these are the times in which we live. You say you cannot, a woman is entitled to change her mind. We all know that. Mm-hmm. And she is under no obligation to you as a man. None. Right? I think we all get that. I think that's firmly established. I think people in chat get that. I think the people listening get that. A woman is under no obligation to you. Right? So you're dating. And let me show you what we're talking about, right? You're dating. You take a young lady on a date, right? The duty and the obligation is on the man to pick her up, come up with an innovative and romantic way to entertain her and sweep her off her feet, and then pay at the end of the night. But the obligations don't stop there. Because if you are fortunate as a man and she allows you to get to the point of sexual relations, you as a man have to know what you are doing. Why is that? Ask me, Derek, why is that? Well, I am glad you've asked, folks. Even our masculinity, Neil, and those of you in the cabinet tonight under the sound of my voice, even our masculinity and sexual value is very often connected to our ability to please a woman. Let me get it. Yeah? A woman doesn't have to know anything in the bedroom. As a matter of fact, sexual innocence on her part is usually a good thing, right? Sexual innocence for a man, however, jokes. Women will say point blank that they don't want a man that they have to teach in the bedroom. And if I tell you the truth, put some ones in the chat, right? So you, even from dating stage, and let me pause to say, because you know you have to say this, Neil, this does not apply to everybody across the board, right? It doesn't. There are some women out there who are more than willing to split the bill with you. Big ups them women. Salute them. Definitely, right? There are some women out there who are more than willing to come up with an idea for a date. Shoot, come and pick you up. I've experienced it myself. It happens, right? Again, salute them women. But I know many men understand. Many men. Yeah? Many men understand exactly what you're talking about here tonight. And women, if you're being honest, a lot of you understand what you're talking about too, right? So the obligations for men are always there, from the dating phase, through engagement, through long-term commitment, marriage, whatever you want to call it. Your reward is the opportunity to be with her. Her reward is everything you do for her. Somewhere along the line, the scales ain't necessarily even, right? Again, let me say, If you got a good woman, this doesn't apply to you. If you are a good woman, that you know you split the bill, you help your man, them kind of things, these things do not apply to you. But if you think back and you know that a couple of times that you were treacherous, and you know you just took advantage of the man that was there, you know you really had no interest in the man that kind of way. He was firmly in the friend zone, but you took advantage of what he was giving out. Well, these things definitely apply to you. We can talk about the friend zone one of these days. That's definitely a show we can do. But as I wrap up, Neil, right? And those of you under the sound of my voice, again, hit the like button. You know, share the content. I feel that this is a very interesting discussion so far. And I anticipate it's going to get better when Neil starts. I feel it necessary, folks, to say that I have no problem with the concept of marriage. Let me say that again, right? I, Derek Marshall, have no problem with the concept of marriage. I've been married before, shoot. And I feel that many men, again, many men, are of similar mind, right? And Neil would have told you and the guys in the chat only last week that I do not intend for 45 and certainly not 50 to catch me in these dating back alleys. But as much as I want someone to share life with, you know, I also have a daughter to consider, so I need to make a good deal, right? And I think that that's what most men want. Most men want a good deal. We talk about that all the time here, right? Unfortunately, in a marriage, a man has all the responsibility with no authority to insist on anything reciprocal. That's the challenge. And responsibility without authority is slavery. Let me repeat that. Responsibility without authority is slavery. Shout out Rollo Tomasi. Right? Women are incentivized to leave marriages, and the price that men pay is upheld in and collected by the courts of law. Men lose children and whatever assets and wealth they may have been able to accumulate over their lifespan, all because they couldn't figure out how to make their wife happy. We saw the video at the top of the show. The woman just said, I don't want some money, so I roll out. Yeah. Men want to be with women. Yeah, that ain't a surprise. Men want to be with women, but divorce rates will continue to climb and men will continue to stay away from marriage until something can be done which can equal the scales, balance the scales, and make marriage a more equitable situation for men and women.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Senate podcast. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Hit notification bell. We are back. We do content for you 5 days a week. We do this thing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the Senate shorts. Those are a bit light-hearted. And we do we do Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. We talk the things on these live streams. But we are back. You know, it's interesting right there. Like you, I am trying to approach how we do this. You know, to be a bit more even keel and not be as enraged when they do these things, and you know, and also to be more prepared when it comes to like, because I could speak off the cuff. I could speak on these things with very little research or anything like that, because I know I understand how things work. But I've decided that I want to be more mild mannered in my approach and be more data driven, looking at the top down view. So now the questions you asked tonight, the first question is what is causing the increase in divorce, right? Or why divorce is increasing. And you know, I did some research today. Did some research today, and you know, it's interesting. There are several different reasons why divorces happen, and as you say, there are several different things. Is you know, lack of communication, incompatibility, lack of commitment, finances, infidelity. Matter of fact, come to find out that things like domestic abuse, that is something that comes very low down on the totem pole. Like when you check all relationships that end in divorce, about 24% of them are because of domestic abuse. Now I know that's a high number, but consider all of the other reasons that I just stated, like things like incompatibility, things like lack of commitment, things like lack of finances or getting married too young. All of those things supersede domestic abuse, because domestic abuse does not happen, particularly amongst Black people, as we have been led to believe, or as been perpetuated, right? But it's not that sure, right? I do a show on that another time. But in my research, it is interesting to see how, when you look at the Black community, we are the most divorced, we are the least married, and we are the least likely to get married amongst the other races. And that could be for a number of reasons. Shoot, we could go back to slavery, we could go back to the division, we could go back to several different things, mentality, psychoanalyze the thing to death, and come up to reasons why, right? But the point remains is that we as Black people, men and women, we ain't getting married, and we're not staying married because we don't trust each other, as Derek said in his monologue. We don't trust each other. We don't. We have an idea of what we want, particularly in this age of social media. I deserve better. I deserve better. What is better, right? It is okay to say you deserve better, and nobody's going to argue that you deserve better, because you do deserve better. But does better mean that you deserve a man to whisk you away on his G5 and take you to Ibiza, giving you a Porsche wagon, and giving you $100,000 to spend on a weekend? That's better, ain't it? But not many men can do that. So
Puff Daddy.
You know what I'm saying?
He did it, actually.
Right. So, and I know that's an extreme case. Some women would tell you they don't even want that. They just want a man to be attentive. But what's attentive? What is attention? And how does that change over time? Because what is attentive at the beginning will look completely different as time goes on. For I promise you, if you as a man stay, checking a woman, checking behind her, how you doing, babe? How is your day going, babe? Etc. 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 When she has life things going on, and you come asking, "Oh, you want me to help? You want me to bring something for you to eat? You want me to think?" She ain't gonna want that, right? It comes down essentially to the discretion of the woman, right? So in the end, 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated for various amounts of reasons, but the most of them come down to, I ain't happy. I'm not getting what I was getting before. And I know a lot of people will say that men change. That's why I talk to men. Men don't change. When I talk to men, men say things like communication. For them, men communicate completely differently to women. And men are low maintenance. Men are completely no maintenance.
Yeah.
Men want peace and peace, but women want peace and peace as well. But it comes in a myriad a myriad of ways and means of doing that. One woman may want chocolate, she may want to be called upon. There was one woman, she's in a relationship with her boyfriend and they have a child, and she wants the man to communicate. They live together now, have a child, and she wants the man to communicate with her how they used to communicate when they didn't have a child, they lived together when they were first courting. Now that's not practical, right? That's man out there hustling. His job is the type of job where he can't be on his phone every moment, every day. He has no time to do that. So I think it comes down to expectations. I've been having this conversation a lot recently about expectations with both men and women. And I think that men have this expectation of just, we just want to get along the thing. And it's oddly enough, a lot of married men, when you talk to them, they tell you that marriage is bare jump, because men understand that it ain't benefiting them. Marriage, even when it is working and it's functioning, it does not benefit them, because once you get into the realm of feelings and emotions, that's not a space we feel safe in, and women kind of control that realm, right? Anyhow, so those are the reasons. And why men aren't getting married? Why are men not wanting to get married? Simply because it doesn't benefit us. Derek gave some reasons. It's so odd. Derek gave those reasons, and I had a few conversations today with various men about this, married men as well. Man, I would tell you straight, if women were if men and women were more willing to be, hold on a minute, go cough. If men and women were more willing to um have honest, open communication. Say, babe, here too, right? Here's my expectation. My expectation is, I have no problem committing to you and settling down with you, but I need X amount of sex or I need X amount of situation, whatever. But I understand that your body changes. I understand that you're gonna have children. I understand that one of the expectations is that you will not be physically able or willing to have the coitus as often as I would like. That's fine. Would you be open to having an open marriage? Right? There, cite that as an example as well. But I mean, by and large, men are not men are it doesn't benefit us because we don't feel safe. We don't feel like we're in a space where our emotional expectations are met. We don't feel safe to speak on our emotional expectations. How do you broach the fact to a woman that you want a particular type of sex or you want a particular type of intimacy or you want a particular type of emotional peace and wherewithal in your relationship as a man? Women are easy to communicate this. Some women don't communicate this thing well, but women are more willing to say, here to I need my love language is this, my love language is that. I got enough men I don't know what's love language. I find out love language the last 2 years.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
I find out at 40 what love language is, right? So we just have to do a better job of communicating our expectations and being understanding and willing to know that those are the expectations if we are going to go forward. A friend of mine today, she was telling me that along with the expectations, there is the willing to work on those expectations, right? Kind of understand that these are your expectations. Your expectation is that we go on regular dates. Your expectation as a woman is that you want gifts and you want us to communicate on a certain level, etc., etc. Right? So now I have to do those things, and let's be honest, I want something in return as well, because there are things men will do for duty. Men will do things for their honor. Men will take care of house and home. Men will make sure that the car got fresh brakes. Men will do things for a woman without being asked to ensure that she is safe because of love. Right? But those airy-fairy things, those Disneyfied things that, the I love yous and the, you know, kissy faces, emojis on WhatsApp and that sort of thing, those are things that women want and men don't necessarily want. Shoot, talk to some most men ain't huggy and touchy feely outside of sex. And even in sex there is, based on trauma and stuff like that, sex is more an act more so than an extension of emotional expression. Anyhow, men are not getting married. Men are not staying married. Men ain't interested in it because we do not feel that it is a space. It is a space for us. Simple and plain. We don't feel safe. We don't feel safe because when a woman decides not to give us sex anymore, we can't just say, "Oh, I done with this, a divorce."
You could.
We could. You are right.
Chance your hand in court.
Right. But if your wife comes to you, your wife has just had 2 children, you don't have sex but twice a year, you know what I mean? Shoot, a birthday gift is sex, oral sex, and that sort of stuff. That is now a gift. So you only have a birthday once a year, so do the math, right?
Yes.
You now are in a situation where you can't sell it here too, right? We're not having sex, we want to have some sex. Or you can consider they got children to raise and they got work to do and they got studies to do and this and that. All right, cool. But let me go there. I can still be married to whoever, but let me go there and at least all I want to do is stir up pot. I ain't gonna do it 4 times a year, but 4 times a year can be better than the twice a year that I get in now. So let me go up there, stir a pot and think, no, you can't do that. You can't cheat on me on that. So now you have the man in in a physical and emotional prison, right? And then there are other things too, right? Because that's not only tied to sex. There are other things too where a man sometimes feel in his house, especially the domestication process in that realm, he can't get nothing right.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Anything to do with sweeping, mopping, carrying out the garbage, you ain't doing it, he time you're washing dishes as you would like. It is up to you. The man feels as if he is not an equal partner, as a lot of people like to say in season 1. Wink, wink. A lot of people were saying that this is a partnership on this and that's the third. But men have such a burden on them to maintain traditional gender roles as a man, to be malleable, to be non-traditional when it comes to the position of the woman in a relationship, and then they have to accept that the woman is not there, she's not willing to hold any traditional role. You understand?
Yeah, as it was to say, you cannot insist on any obligation or duty or anything like that, because when you do that, immediately it becomes one of the is.
Yep.
So that's the situation that men find themselves in.
Right. So those are the two questions are why divorce is increasing and why men ain't getting married. Men ain't getting married because we don't see a good deal. We don't see a long-lasting good deal. Let's not even talk about emotional abandonment, because that's one of the things I saw in my research. So the emotional abandonment is a real thing, particularly on the side of the woman, where men are blindsided. Whether you do research or you talk to men anecdotally, right? Men are blindsided when they come to divorce. A man don't go in and say, yeah, this is only perfect course. Most men don't get hit with a divorce and be like, sounds about right. Men be shocked, men be like, wait, what do? Well, I will get on here. And men are willing to fix it. Men are willing to do the counseling. Men are willing to do, but when a woman done, she done. So
when a woman's fed up.
Dun, 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 dun. But basically, we don't see a good deal. Not for the rest of our lives. We see a good deal temporarily. We see a good deal for the next 5 years. We see a good deal. It's like a lot of people talk about casual relationships, right? And a casual relationship run its course is run its course. Both parties say, well, we had a time, somebody catching feelings, let me call it what it is. But marriage is supposed to be happily ever after. But when you hit year 5, sometimes you hit year 2, and you're ready to say, well, the relationship run its course. You understand? Because things now have changed. Granted, when we men speak about sex, when we men talk about emotional validation and feeling safe in certain spaces within our domestic realm, we are not talking about having sex 5 times like when we was 18. We married now 27 years and we having sex at that clip. We're not talking about not being called out on things when you do things wrong in the household. We're not talking about that. Right? Got cough again. Hold on a second. But there's something to be said in treating each other with grace, treating each other with respect. And when we look, I tell you, all I had to do was share the link today. And men just start to talk. Right? Men just start to talk. Married men. And the thing about it is men are married. Men love their wives. Men understand that they chose a great woman to marry with and to have children with. But they understand full well that they're luck out because they could feel the pinch on how much junk marriage is. You understand? So, you understand me, Derek?
I get you.
Right. The man saying that their marriage is junk.
But they understand it.
They understand like cheese on bread, boy.
When you look to your left and your right.
Yeah, they have to really choose an ignorant woman, boy. This is their junk. Right? And even them choosing a great woman is still fraught with the miscommunication, the dismissal in certain regards, the lack of sex and intimacy, the feeling as if you're not doing anything well enough for them. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it. And now that we've come to that part now, it's now 9 o'clock. We can go into the segment. We go open the phone lines, etc. Derek can go in the chat. But I want to ask you all. Well, first, I really do want women to call in. Men could call in as well, but I really, really do want women to call in. And I want women to call in and answer this. How do you see women's roles in marriage in terms of speaking life into the man, in terms of encouraging the man to feel safe in his domicile with you, right? Do you feel that, as far as they're concerned, I got carte blanche to do as I like as a woman, but he as a man, he has to do and fulfill certain things? You know what I mean? Because there are subtle little things too, right? There are things where women just get dolled up to look good just to get a compliment or stuff like that. That happens. You understand what I mean? Where a woman would dress to get compliments. We've heard about the word husband and the word wife. We've heard about all of these different things. But in the end, what are women willing to, I guess the question I want to ask is, what are women willing to do to ensure that their man or men want to be married? What incentives do you women bring for us men to want to be married? That's my question to the women. To the men, my question is, what would make you come back? What would make you consider marriage? What would make you as a man consider marriage in 2022? Whether you are married already, sorry, not whether you're single, or if you are married, you had to do it all over again. Would you get married? Again, there's a safe space, right? We ain't telling you to, whatever. I ain't talk your business, but we just want to know, man, what will cause you to rethink marriage, or what is causing you to want to get married? What will make you come to marriage? What will make you change your mind in marriage? And women, what are you willing to do to have men come to your table and say, yes, I want to be married, knowing full well that marriage is ever after. Ever after. I ain't talking about you got the man, you got the ring first year, 2 years into marriage, you got the man, everything good.
You see, here's the challenge, right? What you just said. And this way, again, give you pushback, because I think that is where we get caught up. And I've told you this in, separate conversations. We need to start thinking about forever after. Yeah? Women do not look at marriage like that, because the reality is they have incentive. There are women who tell you point blank, shoot a divorce into half. They will say that. Some women will say that point blank. So because there has been that shift, you got and as we got women working and stuff now, making their own money and stuff like that. There's a voice note that was circulating a few weeks ago with a man who was particularly irate. He was out there hustling and stuff like that, and he was lamenting the fact that let me not use that term, the mother of his child was putting him in court for child support, etc. He was struggling to find those payments while she was traveling and stuff like that and doing her thing, right? She was obviously making more money than he was, right? So she was still holding him over well while she was out there doing her thing, right? So I think men need to be a bit more aware of the shift. Women do not need men for survival. Men, we need to get that. We need to recognize that. Women do not need us as men for survival. You are now an add-on. If you want to think of it that way.
So let me, because I'm glad you brought this up, because I got to thinking about this. So essentially, marriage is a luxury now. Marriage is marriage is a luxury now. So then
for luxury and pleasure, he done it marriage.
So no, it goes back to the question still, man. What would make you come to marriage? What would make you want to stand up in front of the Lord and everything and say, I do? What would make you do that? And women, what are you willing to do to say, here tune? I know, it look bad, but here's what is a good deal from us. You understand what you're asking now?
But here, I get you. Don't get me wrong. I get you fully what you're saying. But you also got to consider this. What incentive do women have to want to change the current status quo? Who women can say, hey, let's get married. And, we are going to petition to have laws changed so that if we get married, if I make it more than you, I pay you. Or we can petition the government of Barbados to have prenuptial agreements be legal and valid here in Barbados, so that should anything happen, you go with what you came with, I go with what you came with, all is well.
But here's the thing, Derek.
Nobody don't change the system that benefits them,
I understand, but in the end, it is benefiting women. However, is it mentally benefiting women? Because think about it. I agree with you. 1,000% I agree with you. There is no incentive, but that is the big dismissive kind of answer that people will have, like, it benefiting me or whatever, right? But when you think about it, you marry someone, you have to give yourself to this person, body, mind, and spirit. Unless you really are a scoundrel and scumbag. If you really do love this person and you do that, then you would have loved and cared for the person. But no, especially because showed out a friend of mine, he said this today too, where society puts pressure on women, particularly to fulfill the function of marriage, to get married, to have children and stuff like that. So
that halfway right is put pressure on women to get married. But society places absolutely no obligation on women to fulfill those things. None, because it can't. Because if it does, shoot, any of the men in the chat that married, go home. But shoot, you might be home or no. Look at your wife, girlfriend, whoever it is, and she listen. All right, let me not say it like that. That's disrespectful to stuff. if I say it like that, you get a bad answer. But have the discussion with your wife, girlfriend, significant other, whoever, and say to them, listen, look, when they come home on evenings, be tired and thing, I would like a little hot meal when they come home. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just when they come through the door, you know, got something there ready for put a little sand in a glass for me to drink or something like that.
A beverage.
Yeah, say with some ice in it. Try that and see what response you get.
But
you might get the beverage a couple of days, but then when it starts to be too much, we social contract we talk about it all the time.
But no.
It starts to revert to something else.
Right. I'm not talking about the fulfillment of marriage. I'm talking about getting married. Society's put pressure on women, to get married and to have children. Not to
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
How it works, how it don't work.
There is a social stratification where people say, oh, this woman married, okay, so she ranks higher than the woman who's just engaged, who ranks higher than the woman that is, you know,
right.
unattached.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a real thing, yeah.
Right. So the point I'm trying to say is that while women don't have initial benefit to tell, you know, to stay married and to make married work, like divorce benefits women, right?
Mm-hmm.
I posit to you that mentally it messes with people. It messes with women. When you look at the woman in the beginning, right? There are a lot of women out there that divorce or left good men are out there in the streets. And just like you saying, well, shoot, not just like you, because they may be older or whatever, but they're tired and they had that good situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whether it be pride or, I'm just saying that, like you, I agree with the concept of marriage. And I agree with what Fergie said, that marriage benefits a society. Once you people marry...
Oh, fact. That's definitely a fact.
Right. So then, you could fool yourself all you want and say, shoot, I don't need no man, I get that money, I get half that bread, I get half these assets, or, you know, I can rent this man, fleece this man. Very many different things could be going on, right? But is it really benefiting you? You know what I mean? Is it really... Because they got a lot of sick people out there, you know. They got a lot of
how you answer that, Neil. It might be beneficial for the gram. But when you go home and you're between your ears and behind your eyes, is it really beneficial to that? Because you got, I tell you, mainstream media, right? Mainstream media is saying else. Because, and I like to reference she all the time. All the single ladies. And then she going hold a billionaire.
Hold on a minute. I saw a video. I was to send this to you, but you probably see it because you're in the streets. Where they got this old video where she's accepting an award and saying she loves G-Syndicate. See that video yet?
I didn't see that one.
But it's an old video though. It's an old video where she's accepting an award. She's drenched in sweat. She's like, no, I know the camera gonna go on you. I don't want to put you up there or whatever, but I love me some Jay-Z. This is the same woman that thought with single ladies. I tell you, you know, don't let nobody cheat on you and this and that next. See, Terry got the beehive and this and that next. Meanwhile,
I mean, Jay-Z put horn in she, and well, at least one, and that was the catalyst for the altercation in the elevator.
Got Long Street albums.
Yeah, that made them some money. And then when we look at Cardi B, she don't cook, she don't clean, but let me tell you how she got this ring with the WAP and all that.
Right.
And then she going home to Offset. Who do? Put some horns in she. But she keep taking it back and getting back to you. But mainstream media, social media, real powerful thing. And women tend to take their cues from that. Your money Beyonce, she going home to the millionaire that horn she, has she children in marriage, Cardi B the same thing.
Meanwhile, you won't get half. If anybody is,
you won't hug up with a pillow.
if anybody is to go there and try to get her, you don't think Beyonce be trying to get her? You don't think
Should.
you don't try to be incumbent
As a
on?
significant half to get.
I just say, you know, like when you look at like Jada Pinkett, and but you see the reason why is because they understand. Um, they understand, like, you know, you got money. Money ain't a problem. You understand me? Money ain't a thing. But when you get her, there's something to be said for companionship. There is something to be said
Oh, definitely.
for, because in my research today, the longer you've been married, the more willing you are. The boy in the 75 talking about want to get a divorce. About 60 don't talk to get a divorce.
Well,
We got a short to do on something like that. But that is not the norm. Right? That is not the norm. People, the older you get, the longer you stay married. Right? The more you are willing to stay married. But sorry, excuse me. But those are my questions to the men and to the women, right? If you could call in, or let me talk about it, because I really want to hear from the women, particularly what are you willing to do to have men say, all right, let me get married. Because let's be honest, I know a lot of men that are married that tell them, shoot, I see Ruben here in the chat room and say he will not get married again. And I know a lot of men that will go back in time. And if they had to advise themselves, they would say, we understand, right? This woman, she can give you some beautiful children. Good woman, right? But take your time with that. Take your time with that. Like have the children, but still get married in the back end.
Irresponsible to tell a man, just jump in there head first. Given the current, and let me say again, not saying that there aren't good women out there, but given the particular circumstances, the status quo of marriage.
I posit to you, this has nothing to do with good women or bad women. You think 70% to 80%, 100% of the 70 to 80% of women are bad women?
Well, certainly not.
I posit to you that there are a lot of great women out there, but great people make bad decisions. They're influenced.
Oh, that is a fact.
Right. So
I have a short to do. Matter of fact, I want to trigger everybody tonight as opposed to just triggering you. So I'm going to send you this so that you can cue it up whilst I dive into the chat, right? Because I think that this is an interesting story. So I'm going to send it to you, and then I'm going to dive in the chat, and we can come back and I can trigger everybody one time, because that's how I do things. All right, so I'm going to send it. Everybody, you are watching the Senate podcast here on YouTube. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Feel free to call in and join the discussion. We're talking about marriage, trying to figure out how we can make this marriage thing work, how we can get it to work. That was the question Neil is asking. Ladies, what do you think you need to do, if anything, to get men, to entice men to get... That's the problem, Neil. No, that you really think about the question. That's the problem. Ain't getting married is the problem. It's staying married.
Yeah.
So ladies, what do you have to do, think you would need to do, if anything, to get men to want to stay married? For sure. And gentlemen, what would entice you to want to get back into that if you've already been in it before or go into it for the first time? So let me dive in the chat a little bit. Good night to everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. It's awesome to be back. Thank you, Cherish, for the welcome. Lee says she refused to believe that the lady that taught me the video was the norm. You'd be surprised, Lee. You really would be. Thank you, Phil, for welcoming us back. We appreciate it. Rihanna says you're looking different, Neil. Probably the shave, says Lee. Jimmy, sometimes men discredit men because of the viscous innards. Yeah, the men break rank. We do that. We could do a show with that too. But anyhow, white knighting is a thing after all. Yeah. You see some ones. Get rid of the roles on both sides. Doesn't work like that, Ruben. Do they still say women and children first when ships going under? Indeed, they do. And I don't think that will ever change. Well, unless, men start to really process it differently. But that is not on our nature. Evolutionary biology and all that we will always save the women and children first. Marriage is a prison, asked Jimmy. Wow, when you attack the foundation, then how can we build a decent society? Well, that's a question for the ages, Jimmy. Each person in a marriage has duties and responsibilities. If they don't want them, stand single. Pretty much. Well said, my brother. Marriage got redefined. Basically, it is a contract in which the terms can get changed without a renegotiation. And that is a huge challenge. Because I keep saying, I was talking to some of the guys from cricket. I would play on Sundays. We got a little session up with the gymnasium. And the man said, man, Derek, what you always opposed to marriage? I said, I ain't opposed to marriage. I am opposed to, some of the things that are associated with marriage. So you get married today, and tomorrow your wife, you say, hey, I really feel like putting out the sex here. That's that for you, That's that for you for 20 years, 25 years.
You can't do a horn.
Yeah.
Go horn. I don't initiate divorce, but how dare you?
But you don't have to. You don't have to. Because again, no fault divorce is a thing here in Barbados as well. A woman can say, I'm really feeling happy no more. It's not working for as Jamie Foxx said, this isn't working for me. And that's that. And now suddenly you got to fight divorce.
Suddenly.
Marriage can work if both parties share the same goals and values. Amen, Charmaine. There has to be a mutual understanding. And even then, it's kind of like a coin toss, coin flip. Rianne, I thought both persons want to be pleased. Yeah, both persons want to be pleased, Rianne, but, let me keep it real. Some girls give you starfish.
You ever did, what's it called, Animal Farm? George Orwell?
Yeah,
some pigs are equal. So all pigs are equal.
Some more equal than others. Shoot, we did a live stream about that Animal Farm. Right? Rianne, well, there, I thought you were against marriage. No, I'm not against marriage. I've been married before. Yeah, and I tell you all, if I hit the lotto, I'm married again.
Listen, I tell you all, right? I want to be. I don't necessarily want to be best man. I want to ensure that he there or not. I just want to be MC. I don't have to be best man. I don't even have to be the wedding party. I just want to be
a witness.
No, the MC. So I make sure everybody's a witness. It stop in this red letter day human history.
Man, look, men and women should be together. That's all they say. Men and women should be
together.
And that I'm right. But I've told you, Dave, we had this conversation last week,
Yeah.
It could be 42 in a couple of days, It could be 42 in a couple of days, God willing. Mm-hmm. And I do not intend for 45 to catch me in these streets. I don't, I just don't. And certainly not 50. So yeah, it's not that you're against marriage. You just want, it gotta be
a good deal.
Gotta be a good deal.
I
think that's only fair and reasonable, Ruben says the court has declared war on men. Eventually, men will wake up. They already have. There will be a great resignation, and the idiotic civilization is rebooted or replaced. Yeah, I think it's money infidelity, but I think people are just not willing to put in the work. That's really what it is in Orion. People are just not willing to put in the work. And when we talk about lack of trust being an issue in terms of, our infidelity being an issue and stuff like that, this is why therapy is so important, because when you have those kind of like monumental tragedies almost in your relationship, I think you gotta kind of find a way to work through and talk through those things, because if something happens in your relationship today's the 24th of May, and on the 24th of December, it's still a problem. And then the 24th of December 2023 is still a problem. The intimacy, the sex on that. What we're really doing? It's just two roommates. You know what I mean? You're living as the relationship is supposed to operate. So what's the point? Right? Hey, that's me. Rian is basically selfishness and greed, says Jimmy, and that causes most, if not all, divorces. Whether violence or cheating, all of it comes from selfishness. Valid point. The pursuit of self-awareness, says Lee. Rian, agree totally. People are selfish and don't realize that marriage is we and not I. Yeah, boy. People don't see it like that, though. Sounds crazy, says Lee. If she moves this way, she doesn't love you. Thank you so much, Lee. That's the important part, you know. The love thing, right? I was talking to a partner of mine today at work, and he was saying, you know, when you love somebody, there's certain things that just happen. So you as a man, you love your wife, you love your woman, certain things are going to happen, right? You can show up, you can protect, provide, prophesy, preach, yeah? Them is the things you can do. And you as a woman, if you love your man, there's certain things you can do. So, well, you should do. I'm not saying that you're obligated to do them, because, you know, I guess we can't put any obligations on the ladies. We can't speak to that, Neil. But there are certain things you should be willing to do, and do so willingly. And that's for man and woman. If you love your partner, you should operate a certain way with them, right? Rian says, before living together, before marriage, you sit and discuss who does what, who takes care out. Okay, I guess is a typo. Be clear about your duties and expectations up front. That sounds really good, Rian.
Real good.
In theory.
That sounds so good. I like it.
Theory. In theory. I will never forget the conversation we had one Saturday evening, Neil, with our friend Christina. And there was the talk about, you know, if your child crying, who can get up and deal with it. And it was generally assumed that would be the division of labor would be split. You know, I get it and deal with it sometimes, you get it and deal with it sometimes. But when it came time to talk about burglar in the house, you know, the obligation rested with the man, right? To get up, again, protect, right? That's your job. So it's all right to talk in a vacuum and sit down very calmly and discuss these things and say, yes, well, I will take out the garbage and you will, you know, cook the food, and I will cut the lawn and you will sweep the house. It's all real good till somebody tired.
And also,
I don't want to do the support what they said it was going to do in start.
I also consider, right, that it's not just to have the communication, you know, or the conversation. It's have to open and honest.
And then to follow through.
And to have it, because we can have a conversation, right? We can have a conversation and say, yeah, sure, I want sex 5 days a week. Sure, you want chocolates 4 days a week. Expectation, we go twice a month. The expectation, we clean dishes, and the expectation is this and that. But that doesn't take into consideration tiredness. That does not take into consideration finances. That don't take into consideration mental fatigue or stress.
Yeah, and sometimes you just don't want to do it.
You understand? Sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. So I understand the intent. I understand a lot of people have good intentions when they approach these conversations, but I think a lot of people don't take into life, right? People put their expectations on people, and they expect, like, I don't care what going on. You corner right? I expect flowers at the first and the 15th. I expect my flowers, right? So figure out. You say, I don't want to hear nothing about you lost your job. I don't want to hear nothing that you can get to the thing you favorite. Flower putters, place closed. Don't figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that a lot of people have, if they do have these conversations, they're not having them with the understanding that the other person they're talking to is human. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the part you talked about there just now that was most important was the open and honest. And somebody mentioned it in the chat too, self-awareness. Before Kevin Samuels left this earth, he was talking about self-awareness in 2022. And self-awareness is sexy. You have to know who you are. For instance, Derek Marshall, I am not a video game man, right? All the men in chat know this. I ain't a video game, man. So when you're talking about video games thing, you ain't got me. I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, right? I am not a big rally person, for example. So if I hook up with a young lady who decides, hey, I like rally, I want to be in that thing. I am not promising you, darling, that I am going to rally with you every time rally come around. As a matter of fact, I am not promising you that I am going to rally anytime, because then I've been before, I had a bad experience. Rally is your thing, do your thing. I know who I am. If I know I ain't gonna enjoy, and I have lived long enough, need, and praise Christ, I've lived long enough that I have reserved the right to say, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I know I ain't gonna enjoy this here. Go on, have some fun. Show me when you come back. Right? So we gotta be more aware. Don't agree and say, because you like the woman, I gonna wash your dishes all the time. Just put them in the sink.
You're in the dishes, man, boy.
Are you in the dishes, man? Just put them in the sink. You can wash them. That real good in week 1, month 1. But when you 10 years down the line, every day
894,
you washing your dishes like Cinderella. That ain't make the sense. Cause no, you cruel. Jeez, umbrella, this woman just trench dishes in the sink, and they gotta be washing them. Ladies don't come and tell you, man, yeah, you gonna press clothes. And you know you hear the iron every morning, man. Said, so babes, you ain't gonna wash my pants, you ain't gonna press my pants so you can go work. And you grumbling. You're pressing my clothes with a cold iron. Send him out your house. You know what I mean? You gotta be self-aware. You gotta know where you can manage, where you can't manage. If you know that that's more than you, nah, that ain't for me. I left it out. Yeah. So it's all real good to have the conversations in a vacuum. Real nice and polite. Everybody saying don't smiling and happy. But 3 years down your line,
you feeling all aware, you feeling all self-aware and what like you man or you woman just had this open and honest, upfront or self-aware conversation.
It don't really work at all.
No, sir. Yeah. No, sir.
As it says, you do that and the plants die. Yeah. That's not a very real experience with that. A married woman said to me, you fall in and out of love in your marriage over the years. Facts. Some days you can't stand each other. More facts. But you respect each other and you work at it. It's not easy. One of my content creators I follow said, anything that you work at, you would get good at. So believe that. Yeah. Anything you work at, you would get good at. So I work at music. I think I've gotten pretty good at that. I work at writing these monologues for y'all people. I think I've gotten pretty decent at that. And I've worked at singing all my life. I think I've gotten pretty good at that. Playing basketball, football, them get create. I think I've gotten pretty decent at them things. So if you just let you know if you want to work on a marriage, if you work on a marriage, yeah, you get good at it. Work on a relationship, you get good at it. Unfortunately, though, it requires another person to do the same thing, right? So that's the hard part about it. It's not solely on your efforts. I love this. Lily says, I believe there's value in being the neck. Lyrics. Get married again, never that too many uncontrollable variables. Yeah, that's the problem. You're basically in a raft without an oar, which is, it speaks to the way we was talking about just now. Yeah, it ain't just your own efforts. You know? If I was single now and knowing what I know now with a different woman, I would not even think of marriage with me today. It is highly disadvantageous and dangerous for men. Hail Fergie. I use your screenshot at the top of the show.
Shout out Fergie.
You got Fergie. Thanks for coming through. Rihanna, I want to get married once and once only. Infidelity and abuse are my deal breakers, but I would work as hard as I can to keep my marriage together, to do my best to fulfill his needs. And I expect the same from him. Okay, now suppose... okay, Rihanna, suppose he is... he was a good husband to you, fulfilling or meeting all your needs, and he stepped out, we had a little indiscretion. How would you speak to that? Because I saw a clip of a young lady doing a number on Dr. Martin Luther King, essentially saying that he was not.
Simone, why would you?
Yeah, because it
So
planned to trigger.
asinine. So asinine.
It planned to trigger just a little bit. So, but she was essentially discrediting Dr. King because to hear her tell her he cheated on his wife. So yeah, that was her opinion on it. He was not a man on the Mount Rushmore of black people. Was not a great man because he had an indiscretion and cheated on his wife. So I think it's possible to be. All right, before I go any further, we are not saying that cheating is cool. We're not saying that. We're not advocating that.
I've never said that.
We've never said that, right? Good. But I think it's possible for a man to fulfill his duties to his relationship, to the people in his circle and stuff like that, and to make a mistake and still be all right. Now, if it's like repeatedly like just they're whiling and doing anything, that's a different story. We ain't talking about that, right? But yeah, let me know what you think about it.
Also consider that things don't just happen in a vacuum, right? More often than not, a man that cheats is cheating for a reason. A man ain't just wake up one day, getting regular sex at home, feeling safe and comfortable emotionally and feeling stable and validated with his partner. Man, no, it's important. But a man ain't gonna feel all these things in relation to nigga and say, "Oh, what Becky's saying over here?" Right? Anytime there's infidelity, usually a person feels unsafe. Whether they feel unsafe emotionally, sexually, mentally, they feel unsafe. One of the least.
An lonesome woman in a failed state is a victim in waiting. A lonesome woman in a failed state is a victim in waiting. You gotta give me a little context there. I feel like I missed something. But if we can speak to that, they do say that single women are make up the biggest percentage of victims of certain, crimes. So because they are not under, as bad as this sounds, under the protection of a man, right? That ain't me making that up. That's a thing, a fact. Kevin says, "I doing it again. I ain't divorcing again." So, man says somebody going message. Lee, be careful in there. So Ruben, there is no hope. As we end, there's no pressure to have children anymore. I think I address that. People kind of fronting a little bit and don't want to admit certain things based on the socialization and mainstream media, etc. Civilization has to be rebooted and gender roles restored. We stupidly think we can avoid the fate of all the previously collapsed civilizations. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Neil. Not Neil, Ruben. I get what you're saying. Or even if this is a potentially inflammatory statement, but I get what you're saying in terms of restoring gender roles, because the reality is the rules still exist. It's just that because we talked about this just now. Women now they are under no obligation. Let me say it that way. They are under no obligation. They are not required to fulfill any of the traditional gender roles of women. So you can't ask a woman to say, "Hey, you can cook every day, you can wash clothes, you can clean the house." You can't ask that. Men, on the other hand, must provide. A woman can work full-time, part-time, sometimes home, in the office, however she feels like. A man got to work full-time. That's how it works. Because a man is supposed to provide, protect, prophesy, preach. That's what you're supposed to do. Right? And if you don't do them things, you got to pay account for it. You will be called to account for it as a man. Society does not place the same burden of performance, for want of a better word, on women to fulfill those traditional gender roles. You just can't ask them to, right? Women are still pressured to have children. Welcome, Carrie Ann. Good to see you. There is so much judgment when women reach a certain age and do not have children and not married. That is a fact. There's so much stigma for both men and women if they are not married and don't have children. That is a half fact. There is stigma for women who are unmarried and don't have children. Not so much for men. Men, especially if the men are living well. If a man is living well at a certain age and is unmarried and no children, yeah, that man is seen as, I don't know. All right, we're being honest, some doctor terminology there that it made any sense to me, so you just leave that where it is. You know how many people ask me why you don't have children? Men, I barely know to my GP and my gyno. Yeah, there is a stigma, there is some pressure. As you get up there, people looking around, I see like, so we ain't gonna do something like that, you know, we ain't gonna do something. Fergie says it would get married in any age. Well, congrats to you. I think it skipped something, but yeah, let me go back. Okay, then from the moment you graduate or you working or living home, time to get married. The minute you get married, time to have a baby. Yep. Rihanna, if Cardi B didn't get hard, yes, she did. I went back. This time, bare videos of Cardi B cleaning and all of her children listen to WAP. That is a fact too. But hey, we like it, you know? Fooling all the young people, yes, because we allow it. Ruben was asking why you don't have children is pressure light. Back in the day, if you didn't get a child, that was grounds for annulling a marriage. Got you there too. For many other people, marriage is a business transaction. Legit contracts are developed as to who does what and who pays what, who to carry baby, etc. My guy Michael Blackson of next Friday Pinky fame. I can't get jiggy with this. He is engaged to a woman, and I think they have some kind of arrangement where he is allowed to have one side chick per month. Shit, you not. That is the arrangement they have. And people upset, but hey, that's the deal that she agreed to. If she couldn't hack it, well, if she could hack it, she would be in it. That's what I would like to think. But we know these things. He says one thing up front, and then when they get different, they do something else in the end. Yet people out here daydreaming about married for love, like Tina said. What's love got to do with it? Preach, carry on. Especially when people out here dealing in transactional marriages. Steve, at 75, you may not be willing to get divorced, but sure the will and other legal documents gonna change. I know of a case, yeah. We know of a case, Steve. We talked about that in season 1. Big up season 1, man. Ramel in the host. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for the welcome. Marriage is just common sense of maturity for anyone willing to have a family and be responsible. That's see that common part there. Common sense. Correct, Asen. You could be serious all you like. If she isn't, you're fudged. Yeah. That's the challenge with marriage. It takes 2 people. It takes 2 people. So it can't work if you say, hey, I in it all in and the other body in kind of quarter way in. Remember, I keep saying that if God forbid my marriage ended, I would be very hesitant to do it again because of how I see people approach modern relationships. It's rough in these streets, for real. Rougher than that. Tamara, men and women, please choose your marital partners carefully. Choose someone who caters to your needs. It should not be one-sided. But people just get selfish, you know it is. Yes, you need to plan ahead to reach your personal and family goals, but you still need to approach life one day at a time so you don't become overwhelmed. I was never married, just by observation. Appreciate the observation. Agreed, Neil, if I come home worn out from work, I want my man to understand me and say, don't worry, babe, I got you tonight, and vice versa. You have duties, but have to compromise. The dishwasher. Figure out a solution together. I think infidelity is major disrespect. I may walk away. I may see if I played a role in it. I may come back. Who knows? I can't swear for anything, but initially I will walk away for sure. Just to be facetious, says Jimmy, according to the leftists, men can get pregnant. Men can get pregnant and give birth, so humanity ain't got nothing to worry about.
Don't do that, Jimmy. We're having a serious conversation.
I believe in marriage, but I am against marrying the wrong person, as you well should be, Tamara. I disagree. People don't always cheat because of being unfulfilled at home. Sometimes people get greedy or like the thrill of doing something.
But I did say that, Romel. You know, some people just get greedy. There are some people that get greedy, but if you talk to a lot of men, if you poll a lot of men, you ask them why they would have cheated in their relationship. It comes down to any of the things that you listed about divorce, whether it's lack of commitment, lack of fidelity, not fidelity, lack of, feeling comfortable and safe, not being fulfilled sexually, that sort of stuff. Like, I know it's easy to point at a man one day, man has a perfect relationship, man has a perfect wife. When the man come home, the woman go on a skirt, no top, and the woman just in the doggy style position, right? Food cooked, tea on the table, everything there, so newspaper, game on. Woman doesn't give him any stress, anything like that, and the man just pick and say, I have an opportunity to. That does not happen to the clip that a lot of people would have you believe. Anytime a man cheats, but anytime some men cheat, chances are he feels uncomfortable and safe in his relationship.
What I would say to that, yeah, I get where both people coming from. I get you and I get Romel. And I would have said it in the monologue. Men in out here just chopping away, hitting everything with a hole in the heartbeat. Men are not, a lot of men do not have that opportunity, so it just don't happen.
Right.
But I do take Romel's point that there are some men who got it good. I just say, hey,
yeah, they got some
because they have the opportunity.
Yeah,
they have the opportunity, right? So because of their status and stuff like that, they have the opportunity, and because of that, they explore it, right? So it does happen on both sides, right? Yes, Romel, infidelity is a decision. You have a problem, communicate. Go to marriage counseling. If that fails, leave.
That
sounds real good.
That sounds real good, but it kind of dry because at the end of the day, if you have a problem, Rian, I have a problem. I don't like how you speak to me whenever it comes to cleaning the house. Some women ain't trying to hear that. Some women ain't trying to hear that. As far as I'm concerned, clean the house, or because because let's look at you gotta look at certain things, right? Like there are a lot of situations where in a domestic situation, a woman is very overbearing, right? Whether she's tired, whether she's doing all sorts of things, she's very overbearing. Not overbearing to the point where she ratchet or whatever, but she can be very abrasive when she says certain things. Some men don't feel comfortable to come home. How was your day today, babe, man? Look, I had a hard day today, so I feeling moody or whatever. Wrong with you? You're very sad. You back gap in here. Like there are things that happen when it comes to relationships that are not black and white to that tune where infidelity is a decision. I agree, infidelity is a decision. If you have a problem, communicate. That sounds real good. But sometimes you are past the point of communication. You've probably communicated several times in your own way, and the woman ain't trying to hear you, or the man ain't trying to hear you, right? If you got a problem, go to marriage counseling. The man might be saying, let me go to marriage counseling. The woman saying, I ain't got no time with that. I deal with that kumbaya shite. That happens. That happens in relationships where a person says, let's go and talk about it with a counselor, and the other person refuses to go and be emotionally vulnerable to a stranger. Right? So then, if that fails, leave. Again, that sounds simple. But you married to this person, you love this person, you have children with this person. You don't see yourself with anybody else. So you're not getting any action for anybody else. You don't feel safe in your relationship. You can't speak to your partner, and the person don't want to fix it. And you don't want the option to be leaving. So tell me, some men that just say, you know what, I go here, spend a one night. It ain't gonna be good. It ain't gonna be the best thing, but you know what, it can keep me even keel for me to remain dutiful to my partner, to keep me even keel so that I could deal with what God. I ain't saying it sound right, I ain't saying it ain't so messed up, but let's not pretend that something as simple as, oh, Rian, we need to fix this relationship. And you're like, yes, let's fix this relationship. You are right. I am having, because Romel talked about the unsexy conversations, the
courageous
conversations, right? Where I come to you and say, Rian, I ain't gonna lie to you, right? I have not cheated on you, but I'm really thinking about cheating on you because I feel unsafe emotionally in my relationship with you. So now, I as a man have to explain to you how I don't feel safe in this relationship while still retaining my masculinity and my masculine frame to you. While explaining to you how I feel like cheating on you. That's so.
That is a monumental conversation.
Wait.
I'll tell you this, right? You see, you got a problem to communicate. Minutes before we came on live, I was watching some content there, and the man was saying, you're in a relationship, and the man tired saying, but yeah, they complain about X, they complain about Y. I tired complaining about that things. All right. So he's communicated, and in fairness, this goes both ways. Men complaining, saying, well, yeah, I want XYZ. It ain't happening. You get a marriage counseling, but we talk about this in monologue. You get a marriage counseling, and it is geared toward the man seeing the issues from the point of view of the woman. So the man doesn't feel like if he gets a fair shake or a fair hearing at said marriage counselor. So what's the point of going back? Right? And then you say just leave. But there are consequences to leaving. I leave, again, as we said, redistribution of wealth comes into play. Also the fact that, hey, I would like to see my children other than on weekends.
The stability.
But if I leave, now I am into a custody battle. The children, I can see my children once a week, 2 or 3 times a week, on a weekend only. Yeah, we already talked about the redistribution of wealth. So, shoot, we didn't even talk about the expense to get out. There are many people right here in Barbados who live in a house with a partner and they pass like 2 ships in the night. Why? They cannot afford to get out. So they will find the dating other people. They relate full-on relationships with other people, but they cannot afford to find the money. Guess what? Lawyers are expensive. Maybe they got any lawyers in here. You heard what they said. Yeah? Lawyers are expensive. They can't afford to get out. So they go, they live in they got a whole other relationship with somebody else going on. Praying that their partner dead before them.
That's a fact.
So that one don't go pay out the other.
That is a fact.
So ain't as simple as to say, oh, if I don't like marriage counseling and they left in. Ain't that simple. There are a whole set of other things that need to be sorted out, discussed, worked out before you say, hey, I just done. And yeah, infidelity is a decision. But sometimes you got to look at the circumstances surrounding the decision. A man don't just decide, well, hey, I get out to do some horny. Sometimes he does, but a lot of times we will find, and I explained this at the end of season 1, big at season 1, yeah? A lot of times you will find that a man gets in a relationship with a woman, he's looking for peace of mind. He can't get at home, he gets peace of mind elsewhere, and along with that peace of mind comes what? Some action. You want a hot meal? You get a hot meal, but along with that hot meal comes what? Some action. Because those are things he can't get at home, and he tired of asking for them. So, in the search for those other things, somebody talk to that ain't quarreling.
Yeah.
Suddenly, he gets somebody to talk to that ain't quarreling, but you know what comes along with that? Some action.
Yeah, because that don't get tired, because a lot of things go when we talk about infidelity, we go on the husband's feet and say, yeah, look at this man. But let's talk about the outside woman, That outside woman trying to play a position. So she cooking, she looking to press clothes, she looking to do whatever she can to just get in.
So you got a situation where a man want to go home, and women doesn't know. Women know these things. And when you see a man want to go home, women know there's a reason he want to go home. And they know how to position themselves, as Neil said, to take advantage of that. Right? So it's as simple as to say infidelity is a decision, communicate the problem.
And if we can't talk, we get married.
Just done. Nah, I don't always work like that.
That's a little too ABC. Them things are set sometimes years, yo. Years. Because
Relationships
you
don't
know,
work like that.
I am telling you from experience, the most frustrating thing that you can have is to be in love with someone, see a disconnect, know that you will do anything to fix it, but this person does not want to do anything to fix it. You ain't looking to go out there and cheat, you know. You're looking at the other woman. This woman is the woman for you. But you suggest talking about it, person avoid you. You talk about going to marriage, not marriage counseling. They're married, but you talk about going to couples therapy. Person ain't got the time for that. The person ain't got the money for that. You say, look.
That's the next thing. Those are things that you got. These are services, and when you got a service, you got to pay for it.
But even in my situation, man, I have said here too, I will pay for it. Don't worry about it. I pay. All you gotta do is turn up. Cause it don't even be a full hour. 45 minutes, we can talk it takes. They may want to do that. So they may want to do that. They don't want to have the one-on-one conversation to talk about the disconnect and what's going on. They don't want to fix the relationship. So you don't want to done with the person because you know that something is going on that is causing this to happen. But it is not something rooted in the physical. It's something rooted in the mental. So what is to do? Man, that'll be done, yeah.
Let's say the mind and not in the mental.
Well, true, fair enough. But words don't matter. So so I take your meaning and I understand, but let us understand that infidelity for some don't just happen lightly. It ain't that what? You want me to do it here? We making sport, boy. Man, look, Peggy, what you doing here, man? I done with this foolishness here. That happens over time, years. Sometimes it's just say, look, you know what? This woman shut down from me, so I am going to. This woman shut down from me. The woman don't want to talk to me. The woman don't seemingly want to fix anything. I try to communicate this woman in my way, in other ways, etc. So you know what? I don't want to leave this woman, whether it's financially, it's not financially prudent for me to do so, or you just want to maintain a structure and a stability within your life. You say here too, right? I ain't go here. I ain't do my dirt. I ain't come at home. House gonna be good. So it's
there's also the situation, Neil.
Challenging.
So, let me see if I can get this thing done quickly right there. There are men out there who are in transactional relationships with other women other than their wives. Right? They're in relationships with their wives. Everything is working at home, but there's somebody else out there who understands. And this man's like, you know what? I can take care of this woman on that level. I take care of her. She take care of me. And then when that man go home, he good. Sunday could come on a Monday. You could quarrel about whatever in that house. That man good because he knows, well, look, I got my girl on the side chick, whatever you want to call she. And that's why he can deal with. He's not abdicating his responsibilities at home. He's just dealing with somebody else. That's kind of keeping him out of the mental, as you said. Yeah.
People got caught, yo. People, listen.
Let me say that is right.
That's what
reality.
That is what we were saying. At some point, a man, people, because this happens. We say men a lot, right? But let's be honest. I know about some women that this happens to too, right? I know some women that got men that, for whatever reason, they are not getting fulfilled in the relationship, and they don't know how to effectively get that change to come up. Man ain't want to get therapy. Man ain't want to talk about nothing. When it comes to talking about things, man ain't want to talk about. She start talking to the work husband. What's buying? They're going up on a date. What's buying? Kissing happening, and things happen, right? A woman, some women would say, you know what? I don't feel to leave my man because I know full well why I got at home, but I ain't leaving why I got at home. So I can do my dirt and got a situation where I can do I can shoot. It may not even reach physical for the woman. The woman may keep it in the intimate chatting and texting all hours and that sort of thing. But the point is she's being fulfilled. And she knows it's wrong. She knows she's cheating, but she's doing that because why? It's keeping her grounded. It's keeping her stable. When the day comes, she a little more amenable.
She a little happier.
Yeah.
She a little happier.
Right? So she understands, or she just playing the game to get what she wants. The day he leaves her to go to the outside woman, he back in the same boat. Grass ain't always greener. Again, we ain't saying it right. We just saying that
just what's happening.
Let's just say there is a lot that goes on in relationships where it should be as simple as it should be as simple as sorry, excuse me. It should be as simple as let's talk about it. Let's get help for it. Let's try to make this work. But sometimes we be checking out. Sometimes we check out and we don't check out permanently. We check out for a period of time. Sometimes we check out just for survival. We check out and say, let me get through the next short term period and get back to it. You know what I mean? Let me just take a little mental vacation called work, stressing, my woman stressing, home stressing, all sorts of things, stressing, my child always sick. I got stresses. Let me mentally check out for a minute, I'll come back. Right? I ain't saying it right, we ain't saying it right, we ain't advocating for cheating or whatever. We do want a situation where you can feel comfortable to talk and speak and talk about these things. But them conversation ain't the easiest to have. Them conversations so hard. So difficult.
So, Neil, before we punch out, I said I wanted to share a story with everybody. This one is from the New York Post. And it says, mom left husband of 14 years for soulmate only to be rejected.
This seems very familiar. You did this already? No, I don't think so.
Nah. In her new, I was going to trigger you, but then, we just shut down for a little bit. In her new memoir, When a Soulmate Says No, Amanda Trainfield recounts leaving her husband for a man she describes as her soulmate only to be rejected. It takes two souls to tango. A mom of two has been mocked on social media after revealing she left her longtime husband for a man she believed to be her soulmate, only for him to promptly reject her. Let me get my thing here. So here going. Amanda Trainfield has been described by his critics as a self-destructive sociopath for writing about the emotional saga in her new book, When a Soulmate Says No. An excerpt from the tome, published in the Sydney Morning Herald last week, sparked ridicule from readers who claimed the rejection was karma for the fact she had blown up her own marriage. She ruined her life for nothing, one of the biggest losses we've ever seen, one reader quipped with glee. In the extract, Trainfield describes an electric encounter with her so-called soulmate, which occurred while she was at a dinner party with her husband.
Oh, no.
Let me read that again. In the extract, Trainfield describes an electric encounter with her so-called soulmate, which occurred while she was at a dinner party with her husband. As I settled into my seat, I looked up and immediately lost my breath. Please remember, folks, she is at a dinner party with her husband. When our eyes met, there was an instant familiarity that ran deeper than water cooler chat. These eyes had locked before, 12 years earlier. His name was Jason. I hadn't forgotten. Trainfield did not explain the circumstances under which she previously met Jason, but she said she felt an immediate attraction and soon struck up a conversation with him. Please remember, folks, she was at a dinner party with her husband. She belongs to the streets. Over the course of the evening, my attraction to Jason developed. I soon became aware of his every breath, and I unconsciously mirrored his pace. Trainfield swooned. I caught myself embarrassingly looking at his chest through his slim-fitted white evening shirt. Yes, he had a fit, toned, and attractive body, but was it his chest I was drawn to? Folks, please remember, she was at a dinner party. With whom? With her husband. Yeah. The pair continued to drink and talk into the night, with the author insisting that her attraction to Jason was only intensified as the hours went by. By the time the group left the restaurant late in the evening, all my senses were on high alert. It was abundantly clear that the energy between Jason and me was somehow charged, Trainfield alleged. The pair ended the evening with a hug as Trainfield whispered into Jason's ear, "This isn't over. I need to see you again." What? What?
Play all, play all.
Wow.
I said, hold up, wait a minute.
I had never felt anything like this before. I had never experienced this sensation, she gasped. I now know without hesitation, without question, without any doubt in my mind, my body, or my heart that the energy we experienced that evening was our souls connecting. I left the dinner party, which she was attending with her husband, a different woman. The author continued to coo over the intoxicating experience with Jason, writing, I knew in my heart, in my soul, in the very fabric of my being that I had profoundly changed. I couldn't articulate the feelings, the sensations, the experience. The connectedness I experienced with Jason was at a level impossible to describe. All I knew for certain was that this one encounter in the most unlikely of places, under the most unusual of circumstances, had dramatically altered my life. Please remember, folks, she was at a dinner party with her husband. Anyhow, less than a month later, Trenfield ended her 14-year marriage with her husband, despite not having had any further communication with Jason since the night of the dinner party. The woman who had always been so careful, so planned, so organized, and so clear about the path her life would take had just made the most dramatic decision of her life, one affecting those dearest to her, her family. In spite of her memoir's title, the passage printed in the Australian paper ended on a cliffhanger and left out the part where Trenfield gets rejected by Jason.
Hey, glad.
The piece quickly went viral on Twitter, with many seeming to enjoy the prospect of Trenfield's heartbreak. Of course, the soulmate said no. She ghosted her husband after one night. I'd be afraid of dating someone with no object permanence too. See you coming through with some childhood psychology there. So, lady, your kids will read this one day, and you will know that you blew up the family because you got too horny on Shiraz. Telling Trenfield she should not have published such a shameless account. However, the author also had a small number of supporters, of course, who commended her for writing her emotional truth. She actually didn't ruin her life for nothing, one defender wrote. She left a marriage that most likely needed to end, otherwise she wouldn't have been swayed by another. It looks like she's happy and making the best of her situation. Her ex-husband is probably happier too. Sounds like a win. You know, let me read this article. Trenfield has not publicly responded to controversy the excerpt has caused. She reportedly now works as a life coach. And does not appear to have reconciled with her ex-husband. Now, Neil, you see when they talk about the counselors and say that these things tend to be slanted towards women, you see the challenge, because Miss Trenfield is now a life coach. Lord knows what she be telling people when they come to her for advice. And then we got people encouraging it, saying, hey, she's happy. Her ex-husband is probably happier too. I assure you her ex-husband is not happier. Unless, of course, he wanted her to be gone. But if that man didn't want her to be gone, I am certain he is trying to pick up the pieces and figure out what the hell went wrong, that he is now home trying to figure out what went down. So yeah,
I mean, like I said, he might have a barrel chest. Might have a barrel chest, and the woman got enamored with how it fit in the white shirt. I don't know, man. I think that this is a very strange time we live in. I think that a person has cause to change their mind and to do and be and say and go and do and be with whomever they want to do without fear or without care or without repercussion. I just find it very interesting that, yeah, I mean, you're a soulmate with somebody at a one event. At a one event.
Yeah.
You know.
That's marriage. Folks, it is 6 minutes past the hour of 10 in Barbados and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. You've been watching the Senate podcast here on YouTube. This is episode 1 of season 2. We are going to be back on Thursday. We got a short coming tomorrow, right, Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were a little out of it, you know. Our guy, he was down. But we are coming back with a vengeance. We are going to be punching again as neutral from this week going forward. We can come and talk the things on the live stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We got some content coming down the pipeline for you. So it's been great. Thank you so much for tuning in for the first episode. We are going to be back here again soon. Folks, Neil and I do not make up the rules. We just make sure you know what they are, right? You can ignore reality all you want, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Be the best version of you for you. We can see you again soon. Right, guys? And please remember, if it's toxic to be a man, stay toxic. Yeah, your number is still up to tell you to take your mask, but remember,
that's a fact.
Peace.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe.